Episode 2: Why Every Child Still Needs Time with Just You. When you have multiple children, especially in a blended family, there is a parenting trap that is incredibly easy to fall into. You start thinking, we spend plenty of time together. We eat dinner together. We go places together. We watch movies together. We have family nights. We're all in the same house, and all of those things are valuable. But there is something family time cannot completely replace: time when a child gets you all to themselves. Not because they're selfish, not because they need to be the center of attention, but because the relationship between a parent and a child is not actually a group relationship. It is a relationship between two people. And when another child enters the family, or when two families become one, that relationship can change dramatically. Imagine being the child for a moment. For years, maybe mom was your mom, dad was your dad. There was a rhythm to the relationship, and then suddenly there is another adult, another child, maybe several children, new schedules, new traditions, new rules, new relationships competing for attention. And adults usually understand what is happening. We call it blending the family. But a child may experience something very different. They may quietly wonder, where do I fit now? Do I still get my mom? Does dad like the new kids more? If I want time alone with my parent, does that mean I don't like my step family? And sometimes those questions are never spoken out loud. They simply come out as behavior, irritability, clinginess, sibling conflict, withdrawal, competition, acting younger than usual, or suddenly wanting attention at the worst possible moment. Sometimes what looks like attention seeking behavior is actually connection seeking behavior. This is especially important in blended families. In a 2022 systematic review and meta analysis, family researcher Todd Jensen reviewed 56 studies on step parent child relationships. Across those studies, stronger step parent child relationships were associated with better psychological, behavioral, social, academic, and even physical well being in children. That matters because it tells us something important. The quality of the individual relationships inside a blended family matter. Not simply whether everybody lives under one roof. Not simply whether the adults think the family is blending successfully. The actual relationships matter. The biological parent and child relationship, the step parent and child relationship, the relationship between the adults, and even the relationship with a biological parent who lives outside the household. Another study from Jensen and his colleagues in 2018 followed adolescents in step families and looked at combinations of those relationships. They found that young people generally showed better adjustment when they had strong relationships across the family system, including relationships with parents who did not live in the household. In other words, building a new family does not require replacing the relationships that existed before it. Ideally, you add relationships. You don't erase them. That means one-on-one time with your biological child isn't excluding your new family. It can help stabilize it, and this is an important distinction. A parent might think, if I take only my daughter somewhere, my stepchild might feel left out. And yes, fairness matters, but fairness doesn't always mean everybody receives the same thing at the same moment, because the relationships are different. Each child has a different history with you, different insecurities and different needs and different developmental stages, and potentially different amounts of access to their biological parents. The goal isn't identical parenting. The goal is secure relationships. So one Saturday, you may take one child for breakfast. Another child might get 20 minutes with you before bed. Another might help you wash the car. Another might come grocery shopping with you. The activity isn't the important part. The message underneath it is, for this moment, you have me. And there's another reason this matters. When siblings are constantly together, they're naturally competing for a limited resource. And that resource is parental attention. Dad, look at this. Mom, watch me. Can I tell you something? She interrupted me. He always gets to sit next to you. Psychologists actually have a term for differences in how parents interact with siblings. It's called parental differential treatment. And this isn't a tiny area of research. In a 2024 meta-analysis, Jensen and Thompson examined research involving more than 26,000 children and adolescents. They found that children who perceived themselves as receiving less favorable parental treatment tended to show more internalizing problems, things like anxiety or depressive symptoms, and more externalizing problems, such as aggression or behavioral difficulties. Now, that does not mean every child needs the same number of minutes with a parent. And it doesn't mean treating children differently is automatically harmful. Children have different needs, but it does mean something parents already intuitively know. Kids notice patterns, especially patterns they interpret as someone else matters more than I do. And blended families can amplify that sensitivity. Imagine dad has two biological children. His partner also has two children. And now there are four children in the house. Dad may consciously try to avoid showing favoritism. So he starts doing everything as a family. If one child gets something, everybody gets something. If one child goes somewhere, everybody comes. It feels fair. But there can be an unintended consequence. His biological children may begin to experience the relationship they previously had with him as something that now only exists inside the group. Meanwhile, the stepchildren may also struggle to form their own individual relationship with him because every interaction happens with everyone else present. Nobody is necessarily being neglected. But nobody is getting much space to develop a distinct relationship either. That is the paradox. In trying so hard to create one family, we can accidentally stop nurturing the individual relationships that make the family work. This matters for step parents too. A step parent does not need to immediately become another mom or another dad. That relationship must develop. Researcher Todd Jensen and colleagues have specifically studied what researchers call affinity seeking in step families, the ways step parents intentionally develop positive relationships with stepchildren. That can mean spending time together, showing interest, finding shared activities, offering support, building trust gradually rather than simply demanding closeness because the adults got married. And Jensen's research found that stronger affinity building efforts related to less stepchild conflict, better couple relationships, and greater stepfamily cohesion. That relationship needs its own history, its own jokes, its own experiences, its own trust. And sometimes that happens in very ordinary moments. Driving somewhere together, making breakfast, throwing a football, going to the store, playing a game, helping with homework. The relationship grows because the child repeatedly experiences this person knows me, not just this person married my parent. But there is one rule I think matters tremendously. Do not make children compete against each other for one on one time. Don't say, your brother behaved better, so I'm taking him. Don't turn private connection into a prize, because then parental attention becomes currency and siblings become competitors. One on one time works best when it communicates. Our relationship exists because you are my child, not because you earned access to me. Discipline can change privileges. Behavior can have consequences, but emotional availability should not become a trophy. And this doesn't require expensive daddy daughter dates or elaborate outings. Sometimes parents hear one on one time and immediately think, I don't have enough time for that, especially with four kids or five or six. But meaningful individual attention can be remarkably ordinary. 10 uninterrupted minutes, a drive without another sibling, walking the dog together, making pancakes, sitting on the edge of their bed, taking one child with you on an errand. And here's where I want to be careful with the science. There isn't some magic research number saying 15 minutes produces attachment. That's not what the research says. What the research consistently points toward is the importance of relationship quality, responsiveness, warmth, and the child's perception of their relationship with the parent. One on one time is simply one very practical way to create space for those things. So, the important part isn't the stopwatch, it's that you're psychologically present, phone away. No sibling interrupting every 30 seconds, no competing conversation, and preferably let the child influence what happens. You can even say, you've got me for the next 20 minutes. What do you want to do? Watch what happens. Because one on one time communicates something family activities can't communicate quite as clearly. It says, I know who you are outside of this family, not you're one of the kids, not you're my oldest, not you're my stepdaughter. Not, you're the difficult one. Not, you're the athletic one. Just, you. And children need opportunities to experience themselves that way. There is also a subtle lesson here for parents building a new relationship. Your child should not have to emotionally disappear so your new family can succeed, and your stepchild shouldn't have to pretend their biological parent doesn't matter in order to prove loyalty to you. Researchers Judy Dunn and her colleagues have spent years studying children's relationships across remarried and separated families. Their work has shown that relationships with mothers, stepfathers, and non resident fathers can all matter simultaneously. And in their research on family conflict, they also found that children can become caught in conflicts involving biological parents and step parents. That's important because a child shouldn't feel like affection is a loyalty test. A child can love dad, love mom, love a stepmom, love a stepdad, miss one household while enjoying another, want family time, and still want mom alone sometimes. Those things are not contradictions, they are relationships. So if you have multiple children, here's the challenge. Don't only ask, do we spend enough time together as a family? Ask, when was the last time each of my children had me to themselves? And if you're in a blended family, ask another question. Am I building this new family by adding relationships or by unintentionally asking old relationships to disappear? Because a strong family isn't created by forcing everyone into one giant relationship. It's created from a collection of strong individual relationships that gradually learn how to exist together. Family time says, you belong here. But one on one time says something equally important, and you still matter to me individually. Children need both.